Having fear does not mean don't do it. It means lean in. You're about to do something absolutely epic. Lean in. People confuse fear with I shouldn't do something. Just because you have fear doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. In fact, the fear is always there to protect you. Anytime I've ever done something extraordinary in my life, I've had fear. Fear is normal. Fear doesn't go away. Fear does not go away. When I was, transitioning from tracking every single gram of food that I consumed to eating intuitively, there was fear. But that did not mean, Lorna, don't do this. This is not for you. It meant, no, you know this is for you. You know this is going to change your life. So, of course, there's going to be fear. You haven't done this before. Of course, there's going to be fear. But when you know deep down in your heart that something is good for you, right? Like, let's say, for example, eating intuitively. It's not wrong. And it's not like, oh, I shouldn't do it because there's fear. No, if you lead with fear, you just stay stuck. Fear is there to protect you. Fear is there to keep you safe. But it's actually not safe or comforting when you don't lean into the fear, because then you just stay in your comfort zone, which is actually not comforting. So I've experienced a lot of fear in my life. Like I said, when I deleted my MyFitnessPal, stopped tracking my food, and ate intuitively, that was very scary. That was fear that I needed to lean into, but I knew that it was meant for me because I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be thinking about food anymore. Like, I am exhausted. I want to just be present. I want to live normally. I want to eat normally. And so I leaned into the fear. And it was literally the greatest decision of my life. Because now I eat effortlessly. I just eat when I'm hungry, stop when I'm full, and food does feel effortless. But I wouldn't have gotten here if I'm like, oh no, there's fear, that means don't do it. No, fear does not mean don't do it. Fear means lean in. Fear means you're about to do something that's going to change your life. Of course, you are scared. When I first reached out to a coach, because I was a personal trainer, I was a health coach, I knew so much about health and nutrition. I've always lived a very healthy lifestyle. And a part of me was like, Lorna, why the heck do you keep on binging? Like, why are you thinking about food all day long? Like, you know so much about nutrition. You're so motivated. You're so disciplined. Like, why are you struggling with food? And I never really understood. And so I reached out to a coach because I wasn't about, trying to figure out how to do this on my own. Because I tried. I honestly tried willpower, more discipline, more control, more diets, more meal plans, intermittent fasting. I've tried all those things, and none of those things actually are designed to heal your relationship with food, but that's a different conversation. So I remember sending a message over to this lady on Instagram, and I literally sent over like an essay, and I was like, I know so much about health and nutrition, but I'm binging, and it feels like I'm going through these out-of-body experiences, and I'm so ready to get my life back and to just like eat normally and stop binge eating. And I was scared. And so I ghosted her for 2 weeks. I believe it was 2 weeks. Maybe it was a week. But I ghosted her. She got back to me, and I just ignored the message. I ghosted her. Why? Because there was fear. Why? Because when you do something that you know is going to change your life, like cultivating a very healthy relationship with food, it's scary. It's so exciting, but it's also scary at the same time. And so I ghosted her. And then I came back to life, and I'm like, Lorna, what the heck are you doing? You want this more than anything. Like, you want a better relationship with your husband. You want to stop being snappy with your mom. You want a better intimate life. You want to be more present in your life. You want to be a good example to your children in the future. I'm like, you need to do this. And I knew that deep down. So I was like, okay. I messaged this coach back, And I worked on healing my relationship with food, you know, all of 2019 and a little bit into 2020. Like, I committed to this. I showed up for myself, but it was scary. There were so many times that I had fear. Of course, reaching out to somebody, that was scary. You know, when clients come and reach out to me, they're like, Lorna, I'm scared, but I'm also excited. I know that you're the coach for me, but there's a little bit of fear. Is that normal? And I'm like, yes, hello. I ghosted somebody for 2 weeks. Of course, that's normal, right? Releasing your food rules. Of course, it's normal to have fear. You know, even investing in a high level space, you know, like I've invested hundreds and thousands of dollars in coaches and mentors, and I will do that until the day I freaking die, because I am here to live the most extraordinary life, and I don't play small in my life. I literally don't. I go big, and when I reach out to a coach and they share that they have, you know, 3 different packages, I'm like, what's the highest level of package that you offer? I'm all in. Like, that's the type of support that I want. I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but I do that. And, you know, it's not that I don't have fear, right? I've been doing this for years, but there is obviously still fear, you know, like I can share so many investments with you. And, you know, there was this one time that I reached out to a coach, and it was 2 months of coaching with her, and it was $43,000 for 2 months of coaching. And some of you guys might be like, Lorna, you're absolutely crazy. And yes, I know I'm not normal. That's why I live the life that I do. That's extraordinary. I make these big ass moves. And it was $43,000 Canadian. It was in US, but to convert to Canadian, it was $43,000 for 2 months of coaching. Okay. That's essentially like $20,000 a month. And when she said that amount, I literally pooed myself. And then I also smiled, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to find a way. And, you know, my husband and I, we sat down, we had a conversation, and like normal people, like, don't make these big moves. But what I'm saying that I make these big moves in my life and I still have fear, I mean it. That wasn't the most no-brainer thing. It wasn't like, sure, let me just fly this money out of my butthole and pay this coach. Like, no, like $43,000 for 2 months of coaching. Like, that's not $5, you know, like, this is a big investment. And there was definitely fear, you know, there was 100% fear, but I don't say, oh no, oh my God, that's too much, it's so scary, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, there's fear, this means green light, let's freaking go, you know. And even with the most recent retreat that I went on with my mentor, you know, it was a very big investment. And you know, there were so many like excuses that I could have said, like, you know, this is really scary, and, you know, I'm already doing coaching with her. Like, there's 1,000,001 excuses that I could have given myself. And I was like, you know what? No, like, let's do it. You know, like, I just re-signed with her, for another, you know, round of coaching. This is a different coach anyways, it doesn't really matter. And, you know, I could have literally easily been like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's too scary. Like, you know, flying, like, just getting there, you know, meeting in the room with these badasses who are like super successful. Like, I could have been like, no, I'm just going to stay at home and stay in my little comfort zone. No, I don't do that. I get in the room. You are not going to expand by staying at home. You are not going to build confidence by staying behind your computer screen. Like, you're going to build up confidence and empowerment, and you're going to feel like that unstoppable badass when you actually push yourself, you challenge yourself, you get in the room, you surround yourself with badasses who are where you want to be. You know, I look at these opportunities, I'm like, this is an opportunity to really change my life. I'm not going to say no, I'm going to find a way. Yes, it feels scary. Okay, that means green light. Now, I'm not saying there's obviously certain things where you feel in your body, you're like, that's a big fat no. That's very different. I don't think I've ever really had fear when there was something that I knew that I shouldn't do because it wasn't meant for me. So I'm like, no, thank you. But when there's something that I really want to do and it feels scary and I'm like, oh my God, there's fear, I lean into it because it's actually what I desire. So having fear does not mean that you shouldn't do whatever it is that you want to do. It's like fear is there to protect you. You know, it's like, hey, we're going to keep you safe. We're going to keep you in a little comfort zone, but I don't want to be in my comfort zone. I literally purposely get out of my comfort zone almost every single day. It's true. I don't want to live a life where I'm just like, yeah, you know, I made this move and it was like a no-brainer. It was like, I want to live a life where I'm like, holy shit, I did this scary thing and oh my gosh, I invested in this coach at the highest level. Holy shit, I almost pooped my pants, but it was the greatest experience of my life. And oh my God, I flew to Costa Rica and I attended my mentor's retreat and holy shit, it was scary and it was expanding all at the same time. And like, that's a story that I want to tell. That's the life I want to live, an extraordinary life where I say yes to myself over and over again. I lean into the fear because on the other side of fear is transformation. On the other side of fear is confidence. It's your badass self that you've been waiting to step into. I don't know anybody who doesn't have fear. You're going to have fear. In fact, I get worried when I'm not in fear because I'm like, I'm playing too small. I'm like, I need to challenge myself. Literally, I kid you not, ask my freaking husband. Like every single year, multiple times, I make these big, scary moves for myself. I go to retreats. I invest in coaches at a very high level. And I don't just do it once. I don't just be like, oh, I did it once. Holy shit. Like your life is not going to change by saying yes to yourself once. Your life is going to change by saying yes to yourself over and over and over again and doing the things that you know is in your heart. You know, like somebody, a badass, reached out to me first. And, you know, when I first announced the Unstoppable Badass event, she was like, oh, like I'm in the UK, so like I won't be able to make it. And then she reached out to me and she's like, okay, I need to be there. Like, this is going to be the event of the year. Like, I can't afford not to be there. And so she's flying from the UK and like, what a badass move. Like, find a way. Like, that's my motto. I always find a way for things that I want. I will always find a way. I don't make excuses. I get in the room and I lean into the fear, you know, multiple times. Fear, I'm like, perfect, green light, let's freaking go. I don't say, oh my God, there's fear, I probably shouldn't do it. I'm like, there's fear, I probably definitely 100% should do it. So let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. So lean into the fear. What is your badass move? What is your badass move? And you know it right now. Like, you know exactly what your badass move is, and you are pretending to not know what it is. You're pretending to, you know, just cover up the fear. Like, it is okay to have fear. Don't feel wrong for having fear. You are a human. Of course there's going to be fear. If you don't have fear, I'm concerned for you. Like, of course you're going to have fear. You're doing big things in your life. People who live these big lives, like these dream magical lives, they have fear over and over and over again because they're stepping out of their comfort zone. That's how you live an extraordinary life. You do not live an extraordinary life when you're just like making these small moves and like, yeah, I'm just going to join this $33 thing and like, I'm just going to stay at home and like stay in my comfort zone. No, get in the room. I'm getting so fired up, you guys, because my life has changed. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, a few years ago, I was lacking self-confidence. I was insecure in my own skin. I was snappy. I was moody. I had digestive issues. I was binging. And my life has transformed by me just saying yes to myself over and over again, leaning into the fear and making these big moves for myself. So I want you to succeed. I want you to live the most magical life, and you are so deserving of it. You are so worthy of it. But you have to lean into the fear. Like, it's not even like, oh, like maybe you should lean into the fear. No, you have to lean into the fear. This is how your life changes. You experience fear and you lean into it and you're like, I'm going to say yes no matter what. Your life will transform. Your life will transform 100%. If there's fear, do it. You know, another badass that's coming to the event, she's like, at first I was so nervous, like, you know, I'm shy and I'm awkward. And she's like, and that's exactly why I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to join the event and I'm going to go VIP because, again, like that, she's like, I know that that's how exactly I'm going to transform. I'm going to build up my confidence. And I'm going to do that by actually getting in the room and leaning into the fear. The very thing that you fear is the very thing that you need to do. You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm not, like, I'm shy or I'm awkward. Okay, well, then get in the room and work on that. You know, or I'm not confident. Okay, well, get in the room and you're going to become more confident. Like, that's always my motto, and that's how I changed my life. So I'm just sending this to you with so much love. I sometimes get very loud and very passionate. I've been told that multiple times on my live streams. They're like, Lorna, stop yelling at us. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just so freaking passionate because my life has transformed. My life has transformed. Like, what I'm telling you guys to do is what I did. You guys say, Lorna, how are you so confident? How do you have an effortless relationship with food? How do you live this life that just feels so good? I say yes to myself. I make big moves. I get in the room, and that's the end of the story. Like, it's literally the recipe for success. So, I love you. If you've not yet purchased your ticket for the event, for the Unstoppable Badass event, get your booty inside. You can message me, Unstoppable. Or if you want to win a ticket, for an opportunity to win a ticket, you can enter the giveaway. All you need to do is check out the link in the show notes. All the details are there. Basically, leave a review of the podcast. That's 5 entries. Or you can share any of my podcast episodes to your Instagram stories, and each one of them will be an entry. So I'm giving away 1 ticket to the event of the freaking year that's going to change your life. And if you're like scared, if you're fearful right now, if you're like, oh my God, I have to post on my Instagram stories one of Lorna's podcast episodes, freaking do it. This is a way of stepping out of your comfort zone. Do you see how easy it is to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Oh no, that's scary. Well, badasses do the hard, scary things. So be a badass. Only, of course, if this feels in alignment. But if it doesn't feel in alignment, don't do it. But if you're like, oh, I should probably do that, but what is Aunt Betty going to say? Or what is Aunt Susan going to say? Or what is his coworker going to say? Freaking who cares about them? Do it. You're here to change your life. You're not playing small anymore. You're about to play big. You're going to change your life. And I can't wait to see you at the event. So either purchase your ticket or you can enter the giveaway, and I'll be giving away 1 ticket to the event of the freaking year. All right, badasses. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon.